Have you ever heard of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? Of course you have. It's a classic. It was published almost 100 years ago. And in his book, Napoleon Hill talks about the importance of developing what's called a mastermind group. It's a group of like-minded individuals that come together for the sole purpose of supporting each other to become better at their craft or what they do. It's usually a common, some sort of a common interest. And the purpose of the mastermind group is you have a group of colleagues that you can share with, you can talk to. And you can tell them anything that you want because it's basically a sacred group. And there are plenty of these groups out there today. And a lot of people are members of them. But most of us dentists don't really form these mastermind groups with other small groups of dentists. We may have study clubs, but do we have a group that we're really intimate with, that we share anything with? Now, a number of years ago, a good friend of mine, Greg Toback, told me, this was probably 25 years ago, that he was a member of this mastermind group. He didn't call it that. He says it was a study group with a bunch of periodontists. And he hung around with some really, really good periodontists. They're very young. They hadn't really developed their careers yet. They met in their early 30s, and they developed this group. And there were some pretty good periodontists in it. It was Mark Nevins was in it, Diego Velasquez, Todd Shire, George Mandelaris, Chris Richardson. And I said, that's pretty cool that you're with this group. And I said to myself, maybe I should form one of those. And I talked to a few people. I talked to Bob Levine, who is basically my brother in periodontology. We've been together, as friends since the 80s when we took our boards together. And we got a few other colleagues. We got Bobby Butler, we got Jeff Canales, Brad McAllister, Jeff Thomas, and my good friend Bob Fiella, ex-ADA president. All of us are periodontists. And we started this group close to 20 years ago. And today, 20 years later, we're still together. We meet once a year at the American Academy of Periodontology, and then we meet once a month or every other month online as a Zoom meeting. This group has been a source of strength for me and for every member of this group. And as we've gotten bigger, because our practices have gotten larger and we've taken in our associates that have become members of this group, we now have a group of about 17, 18 of us that meet monthly. And it's been really powerful, especially what really brought this message home was during COVID. Nobody knew anything during COVID. We knew nothing about the disease. We thought the world was closing down. We didn't know anything about personal protection equipment. We didn't know anything about finances. We didn't know anything about government help. And in this group, everybody's a specialist. Everybody has a little area where they really soared. My partner, Ray Ma, was really good at getting PPE equipment. Somebody else was really good about finances. Somebody else was good about marketing. And we met. And during this source, during these weekly meetings, they were a source of great strength. We met every Monday for a while. Now we meet, once a month, every 2 months. And for 2 days, we meet at the annual meeting. So if you're not a member of a mastermind group, I strongly recommend that you put one together. And it could be about whatever you'd like, but choose people that are willing to share. Now, when I formed this group, I wanted it to be very open. So there are two things that people had to bring to join the group. They had to bring their last year's tax return, and they had to bring a P&L statement from their office. And they had to put it on a table so we all knew, everybody's financial information, so we can really share openly and honestly. Now, we all looked at it, and today we don't do that. But nobody really looked at those tax returns. It just was a way to signify that I'm going to be open and honest with this group. And I've probably learned more from this group than almost any group, that I've been a member of, especially about periodontics and how to run a business. And today, as the senior member of the group, I'm watching the younger people, and it's such a gift for me to be able to help these young people, give them the wisdom that we've accumulated as a group over the last 40 years to the younger people. And I'm watching their careers jumpstart. I see people in their late 30s and early 40s that go, man, they're way ahead of where I was in my 30s and 40s, and I'm happy to see that. So just a little hint, if you're not a member of a mastermind group, I'd recommend you join one because we dentists, we tend to be isolationists. We're in an 8 by 11 foot room, in a mouth with a little light on it that's dark and wet. That's where we spend our life. This mastermind group sort of brings it open. So have a great day, everybody. And take my hint, don't take my hint, but I think it'll be a great gift to a lot of people. So remember, be the gift.